Telling Her Truth, The Story of Zitka la S by Morgan Solomon. To understand Zitka la S's life, one should first look at the time she lived in. By the 1880s, the U.S. government was working to erase native cultures. Laws like the Indian Removal Act and the Dawes Act broke up native lands and forced assimilation. Boarding schools were created to strip native children of their languages and their traditions, and even after the Indian Citizenship Act of 1924, Native Americans still weren't given their full rights, like the right to vote. Zitka la S lived through all of this, and she was one that chose to fight back. Zitka la S was born on February 22, 1876, on the Yankton Sioux Reservation in South Dakota. Her mother, Ellen Simmons, was a full-blooded Yankton Dakota woman who taught her the language and culture of their people. However, her father was white, and he abandoned the family when Zitka la S was young. That loss, combined with the cultural identity crisis the country was going through, shaped her. At 8 years old, Quaker missionaries took Zitka la S and brought her to White's Indiana Manual Labor Institute, which was a boarding school designed to civilize native children. When she got there, her hair was cut, she had to answer to the name Gertrude Simmons, and she was forced to speak English. At school, Zitka la S learned to use her voice in a new way, and that was writing. She gave a speech on women's rights at graduation, earned a scholarship to Earlham College, and later studied violin at the New England Conservatory of Music. This led her to take a job teaching at the Carlisle Indian Industrial School, which was another assimilation school. Despite her struggles, she kept writing, and her stories shared the truth about what Native children went through in boarding schools and the real personalities of her people. Her collection, American Indian Stories, gave people a window into her world. She returned home again, and in 1902 she married Captain Raymond Talifaz Bonin. They moved to Uinta Array Reservation in Utah, where they lived for over a decade and had a son, Raymond Ohio Bonin. In 1913, Zitka la S worked with William F. Hanson, who was a music professor at BYU, to create the Sundance Opera. It blended classic musical styles with Sioux traditions to preserve her culture. Zitka la S became a leader for Native rights. She joined the Society of American Indians and was elected the secretary in 1916. Later on, she co-founded the National Council of American Indians with her husband, and she served as its president. She also edited the American Indian magazine and spent her later years in Washington, D.C. Zitka la S passed away on January 26, 1928. She is buried in Arlington National Cemetery under the name Gertrude Simmons Bonin. However, her story lives on. She was one that fought against the erasure of Native culture. Her legacy continues to inspire people today. All sources used in this project, including documents, photographs, and texts, have been fully cited in MLA format at the end of the project. Thank you.